how do you raise your prices in your car detailing business? Is it maybe because you have a lot higher demand now and you got to make sure that you can handle all the work? Maybe you just want to make a higher hourly rate. Whatever the case may be, in this video, I'll be talking about how to raise your prices. Check the description box for more information on how to get more customers through Google if you are just starting your business. So, the first thing that you always think about is if I want to make more money, I need to raise my rates, which is correct. If you're making $25 an hour and you want to make $30 an hour, you're just going to raise it. Now, the key things to keep in mind when you are going to raise your prices is you need to be real conscious of communication. So, depending on how many customers you have, if you have a pretty big list of clients, then you want to over communicate with everything. So, do you have any clients, any customers on a type of monthly package where you come out and you clean their car for a set price? Do they call you out every week to detail their car? You want to be real conscious and kind of you want to treat everyone for the type of service or the type of money or the frequency that you detail their cars. So let's say you have 10 customers, 5 customers on a monthly package where you come out every 2 weeks. Then you want to talk to them differently than those that just call you out every 6 months or so for a paint correction or an engine cleaning, whatever the case may be. But you want to be specific and granular to different segments, different people of groups in your business. That way you're just more tailored to them. You could speak to them more clearly and communicate your message and what's going to happen a lot better. So if you are running like a car wash type business where it's just in and out, then if you have their contact information, their email address, their phone number, and by all means, first you have to have a proper structure of how you are going to raise your prices. Don't just, as soon as they start calling you in, you're going to say, hey, look, I raised my prices. It's going to be this. No, you want to be a lot more formal with it, especially if these are repeat customers. You want to send them a thorough email, a text, put, signage around your shop, or if you're mobile, hand them some type of paper or something explaining what's going to happen and why. So let's say, a typical interior detail is, $100, let's just say, and you're going to raise it to 140, starting off or whatever the case may be. But you want to be very communicative and say, our pricing has been X. We're going to raise it to XYZ in this exact date because we want to continue to offer the best service. We need to be able to handle demand. We need to, we're going to move to a shop. We're going to, whatever it is, or, whatever your reasoning is behind raising the prices. But you want to tell them exactly the rates that are going to go up, by how much, by when, how it's going to affect them, and why. Because you need to over communicate on everything that you do. And keep in mind that you will lose some customers, some clients. That's just the nature of the beast when you're going to raise your prices. So you have to be real conscious of when you are going to raise your prices, because if you're not getting much work right now and you want to raise them up even more and you still want to get more work, then you will possibly get less work in the beginning phases. So be real conscious of where you are in your business, how many customers you're getting, to see if raising the prices is something you should be doing. Because if you're just starting off and you're saying, oh, you know what, I want to make, $40 an hour instead of 25, and you're hardly getting any leads and you're hardly getting any sales, then it's not going to really work out for you if you just keep on raising your prices at such of a beginning phase that's in your business. Not as opposed to, if you've been established, if you have, a pretty, good list of customers every month, then it'll fit you a bit better because obviously you're more established and you're getting a more frequent return of customers. But now, just because you want to make more money doesn't necessarily mean you have to raise your rates. And this is something that I really want to start sharing a lot more, because the typical train of thought is, if I want to make more money, let me raise my rates. And it's absolutely fine, but keep in mind that there are other methods to make more money. And it's really based on your long-term business goal. Because you're always going to be able to raise your prices, right? If you make 25, you want to make 30. If you make 30, you're going to go to 35. If you want 35, you want 50. And if you go to 50, you're going to go to 65. And the more you raise your rates, the less customers you're going to get, just by the nature of it being more expensive. But obviously you're going to get those that have much more discretionary income to dispose of, that can, a bit more on the value side of things, where they want to pay you because they know the type of work you do, which is great. But like for me, I personally am not trying to be the most expensive detailer in my area by any means necessary. I want to be affordable, much more expensive than your average detailer, but I do want to be very affordable. So I'm not looking to have the most highest rates ever. So just because you want to make more money doesn't necessarily mean you have to have the highest rates. For instance, if you want to make, if you're working at $25 an hour, let's say you want to make roughly $25 an hour for 4 hours, that's $100. So you want to make more money, so you're just going to raise your prices to $30 an hour, and you're still going to complete that detail in 4 hours. So now you're going to make 120. And let's say you want to raise your rates one more time because you want to make more money. So you raise them to $35 an hour, and you still complete the detail in 4 hours. So you're at 140 hours. That's all fine and dandy if you want to make more money. Or what you can look at it is be much more efficient and just finish it in 3 hours and keep your flat rate of $100. That way you're now making, if you finish the detail in 3 hours instead of 4, your hourly rate now jumps up to 33 and you're keeping the same price. Or of course, you can meet it in the middle and raise your hourly rate, finish it quicker, and now you're about 40, 45-ish dollars per hour. A different way is if you have the demand, if you're booked out and you're raising your prices because you're going to lose some customers but get better paying customers, then what you can also do is hire someone part-time to help you out. And if a detail takes you 4 hours and you have it at a price of $100 and you finish it in 2 hours, well, now your hourly rate is $50. And of course, if you want to come in between and raise your prices to $30, $35 an hour, finish it in 2 hours with a helper, then your hourly rate substantially goes up. So there's a lot more method than just simply raising your hourly rate or raising your prices to meet a different hourly rate. And again, this goes back into like how you want to structure your business model for the upcoming years. Like I said, I know why I don't want to be the most expensive, or I'm not trying to be the most expensive, because I know what type of business model I'm trying to set up for myself. For you, if you want to, if you're just doing this as a weekend warrior, if this is just going to be, solo dolo for the next 5 years, then by all means, you can do that yourself on how you want to raise your prices, how you're going to structure that. Just be aware of how you're going to try to run your business 2, 3, 4 years from now, because that's all going to really matter on how you're setting yourself up now. But when you are ready to raise your prices, again, you have to communicate everything that's going to happen. If you are moving into a shop and you are going to raise your prices, be very clear when you're writing that email, when you're sending those texts, when you're calling those customers, because they want an explanation of what's going on. Maybe they absolutely love you and the prices that you're on right now are already pushing the penny a little bit, and then you raising the prices is just going to really throw it out the water. So you really have to explain what's going on, when it's going to happen, why it's going to happen, by how much, and how does it affect me. Are you going to stay loyal to the price that we agreed upon on our monthly package? Is it going to go up? Is the service going to change by any means? What's all going to entail in these prices being raised? Am I going to get more? Am I going to get some type of, am I going to get better value out of this? Am I going to get something added? Because I am paying you more and you're going to be doing the same work. What's going to happen? So just don't start raising prices without talking to any customers. If you have a customer that frequently, hires you to do the cars every month or every 2 weeks or whatever it may be, don't just one day start charging more for whatever reason. Explain to them, be respectful to them, as they've been very loyal and respectful to you. So if possible, write an email out. If you have everyone's emails, write a thorough email out explaining what's going on. If you don't have their email, but you want to send out a letter to them, if not that, then just text, manually, whatever the case may be, depending on how you have everything set up. But you want to communicate what's going to happen, by how much, and by when. And as a side caveat, remember, if you have new leads contacting you and you want to raise your prices, the only thing you have to do is actually raise them. If that's your first time coming in contact with the prospect, they don't know your pricing. They don't, they don't have any backlog with you. So if you do want to raise your prices and it's an absolutely new client, new lead, new prospect that, is just now contacting you, it's as easy as just changing your pricing. You are the business owner, you are the one in charge, so you can do that. This is mostly for those that are previous customers that have been loyal to you, respectful to you, that have called you out and you've, serviced them before. This applies to them, but new prospects, you could just start charging them their new rates, and just like that. And keep in mind, yes, you will lose some customers because that's just the nature of raising your prices. It's going to happen, but you will keep those that are actually loyal, that have discretionary income to expose, and those that are most profitable, and probably ones that aren't as picky, because the more you pay, you weed out those that are kind of penny pinchers and give you the hard time. So there are pros and cons to this, of course, but on how to raise your prices, just that, you have to over communicate on everything that's going to take place in your business. That's the rule of thumb, or the main concept you need to follow, is you need to communicate all the information to your customers. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helps you raise your prices. Go ahead and leave your comments down below. Check the description box. I'll see you on the next one.